So this morning on Twitter, the long-awaited ban in the One Piece trading card game was announced. There's a couple key points to talk about if you don't know them already, and I'll give you the information in whole before I give you my opinion on like how I feel and stuff to try to give you what you need to know when you need to know it, and then afterwards, we can discuss whatever. The ban list has been announced to be enacted in the West. This was originally something that came out in the East, but then the Western official English account did post that it was going to take effect on August 30th, so about 10 days from now. If you're wondering why it's not the official start of the OP12 release, well, it's kind of the official day of the legality of OP12 for major championships like regionals and things like that, but also they need a little bit of time to communicate some of this stuff because this ban list is much different than what it's been in the past. Before we get into that ban list though, I do need to pay rent this month, so let's quickly hear a word from our sponsor. Garden is officially celebrating their 1-year anniversary. This mat's on sale. This mat's on sale. This mat's on sale. Literally everything on their website is slashed for this anniversary sale. You can pick up some old favorites or brand new designs on their website at a discounted price and stack my code Atrocious on top of that for 5% off. This anniversary sale is not going to last forever, so make sure to click the link in the description below and get your new favorite playmat today from one of my favorite people out here in the community. Thank you again to Garden for sponsoring this video, and congratulations again to 1 year of great things. Now, let's get back to the video. So, One Piece updated their page in topics regarding the ban list and messages from the development team, and they introduced their first set in this card game, a paired ban list. Meaning, as you can read right here, cards A and B cannot be included in the same deck. They both exist in the card game, card A and card B, but not in the same deck as we've been seeing in the game. And I don't think this combination, when you hear paired ban, is going to ultimately surprise you. The pair ban includes card A, which is Monkey D. Luffy, the OP12 blue-purple Luffy leader, which has been dominating the meta, and then a couple cards in the category of B, including the OP11 Charlotte Katakuri 8-cost blocker, and the 9-cost OP08 Linlin. Now again, with the paired bans, when you talk about card A and card B, both Katakuri and Linlin are included in card B, so you can keep both of those within the same deck. It's just whenever you have a Luffy leader, you cannot in your deck play either of these two cards. This is the first time that this has been included in the One Piece trading card game, but not specifically in Bandai card games, right? Union Arena had a pair ban with Jujutsu Kaisen in Union Arena, and I think they still do regarding the blue Sukuna deck. Nami is also included in the ban list as a leader, another leader ban in this card game. You are not allowed to play this leader anymore. I don't know what else to really say about that. I mean, it's just a ban. Boom. There. I'll talk about my thoughts later. They did distribute a new promo Nami version if you didn't see in our Discord server. And this in the Discord server gets updated every time that there are new cards that are revealed and released. You can join if you want with the link in the description below. But according to the rules, you may only play cards with the East Blue type in your deck. And also having the when you deck out, you win the game, and the typical Dawn ×1. They'll distribute this as probably something like a Pirate Party or a OP13 pre-release or something like that in the future, just as they've done with like Sakazuki, Red Purple Law, things of that nature. But sticking on to Sakazuki and Kabaji have both been removed from the ban list, legal to play, starting on August 30th. Sakazuki, a leader that was banned before OP07 out here in the West, is now back able to play, as well as Kabaji, which never really saw the light of day as it was banned before OP03. And that's it. That's the end of the ban list right there. A little bit of adjustments in terms of things that are added, things that are taken off. And now one by one, I'm going to start giving my opinion. So if you don't care to my opinion, thank you for joining me for this news segment. I don't mind that there is a pair ban, especially because it is directed towards blue-purple Luffy. The one thing that I do like about this ban specifically is the Charlotte Linlin. This is kind of like a best case scenario scenario for the few other decks that actually do play this Charlotte Linlin. So it's nice that this card still exists within the format alongside this Katakuri as well. I mean, this Katakuri it's miles better than this card in the wide vast of the meta. So it's nice that it still exists and you can still play it in all those other decks, just not this one. I will say, though, I think that there is a big key indicator that's missed in here, which I don't really think they would have banned just simply because of reprints and different hype that they had built around that card anyways. Gum Gum Giant, because I think a lot of the problem with the format, part of it is the Linlin, right? Because I mean, I've said this before on the channel, what deck beats a Sanji Linlin combo in back-to-back turns? It's no doubt that Blue Purple Luffy does take a hit off of this, but I think the general problem revolves around Gum Gum Giant, right? Really shocking to me that Green Purple Luffy also untouched. Gum Gum Giant does allow for so many other decks to survive, right? Like, I don't think Purple Yellow Robin survived if Gum Gum Giant got banned. I don't think Blue Purple Sanji survived if Gum Gum Giant got banned. And so on one hand, I don't think it really solves what their actual problem was in the format, but which was kind of a wider hole than just Blue Purple Luffy. But Blue Purple Luffy, as you've seen in the different live streams, in the different Japanese tournaments, and even English tournaments as well, has been a very dominant leader, has been a very good leader. So like on the other hand, it does kind of deal with that a little bit because it definitely knocks him down a little bit. What's really interesting to me though is that a lot of people prior to the ban list that I watched like online or like read notes and stuff from in the Japanese space talking about OP13 were already kind of considering that Blue Purple Luffy was going down slightly, especially with the introduction of Emu, Red Black Sabo, Red Blue Ace, like all these new leaders coming into this space. So I guess in that sense, like it makes even more sense why they wouldn't ban something like Gum Gum Giant, right, for instance, because those decks need to be able to compete with stuff like Emu. Now, I have publicly said on this channel that the Nami ban was inevitable. Just the pure distaste for this deck within the community as a whole. It's no surprising that this leader actually got banned, right? Especially when you talk about the recent reveals in OP13 and the newly released cards that are coming up, where that Otama is just literally a better Kabaji in every single facet of the game. I still personally think that banning leaders is lazy, and I'm more slightly disappointed that alternative win conditions now don't exist in One Piece. I will admit that I have slight bias as a big Nami enjoyer. I don't have the deck. Oh, I do have the deck. But in most card games that I've played, I've enjoyed alternative win conditions. I think that card games should include them. They don't have to be grand and they don't have to be incredible, because you don't want those alternate win conditions to be the best things in the game, because, well, they make for pretty unenjoyable environments for the average player. And in all truth, I think they kind of back themselves into a corner with Nami, because I think that there are definitely cards that you could have taken care of in Nami if you wanted to knock it down a peg, but instead they just had to take it out altogether. Sure, you can type in the comments right now, well, Jake, the alternative win conditions still exist because they're making the reprinted promo Nami. You and I both know that those reprinted promos of the leaders that get banned might as well just not exist. So like on one hand, I understand it, but on the other hand, I don't think this really addresses stuff. The only thing that this really addresses is the fact that Emu now lost a clear counter to the deck. Because a lot of people that I've seen in Japan were talking about in terms of the meta, if you want to beat Emu, you play Nami. But if you want to beat Nami, you play Blackbeard. And if you want to beat Blackbeard, you play Emu. And so I always kind of have a distaste in my mouth when it's like when the direct counter to the bright new shiny thing that they're trying to advertise and sell immediately gets taken off. That's all I'll spend on that. Please do not fill my comments with good riddance, Nami. The Kabaji unban, honestly not surprising, right? If Nami is banned, Kabaji deserves to be unbanned, I guess. It does not make Buggy a top tier deck. Anyways, it's still a trash deck, so that makes sense. And Sakazuki being unbanned is both surprising and unsurprising to me. Their reasoning for unbanning Sakazuki: we have determined that this card no longer poses a threat to leader diversity in the current format, and therefore have decided to unban it. I very much don't agree with that, but I do find that there's a little bit of truth in this. Right, if you think about the time that Sakazuki was most dominant, he had Ice Age, he had Great Eruption, he had Gecko Moria, and all of those cards are still banned, not able to be used. Therefore, you can imagine that a peg of Sakazuki has been taken off, and he's not going to be as strong as he used to be. We even ran a tournament here at the shop. We have a live stream of it, of an unbanned tournament where we unbanned literally everything and we let players just play with any One Piece card. Sakazuki had a couple diehard players that brought it to the tournament and they sucked. Now, I don't think Sakazuki is going to be a trash deck. I think Sakazuki is actually going to be a decent deck here in the format. But I think it's really interesting that we've moved into this kind of situation where Blue Purple Luffy, a deck that struggles against aggro decks like Bello Betty, Zuro, stuff of that nature, and gets knocked down a peg because sometimes it can still beat those aggro decks despite that weakness. But then you have a leader, which I think still does pretty well into those kinds of decks, right? Especially when you talk about Rayleigh. Like, why would you play Rayleigh now? Especially with Houndblaze, Amino, what was that card? Amino Muranuma Sword or something? That card being included. Because everything that you have is 4 cost or less, so it's like everything that you have is getting bottom decked so easily. I don't know, Rayleigh kind of the biggest loser of this ban list, I feel like. And do I think Sakazuki is going to take 14 of the 16 decks in a world championship? No, I don't think it's as powerful as it once was, but I still think that there's something there, right? Rebecca, Hina, Lucci, still a combo that you can do within that game. There's plenty of decks that have like anti-removal in the game, right? And especially when you talk about like 3-cost Tashigi and even like the 2-cost Koshiro. And there's still cards that Sakazuki hasn't necessarily worked with yet, like 7-cost Sengoku from EBO2. I mean, that card in itself can play out so many strong pieces that we saw in like regular Black Smoker that I think allows this deck to definitely exist. Like, I don't think this gate keeps the entire game like it used to, but I still think that there's some leader diversity that it really hinders. I don't know. It'll be really curious to see where this goes. All in all, with this ban list, I don't know if I totally agree with it, and I think a lot of that has to do with the bias that is not necessarily targeted at me, because obviously they're not just like targeting me, but like the deck that I play. So it's a little bit of uneasy feelings. This definitely makes Dallas Nationals and the LCQ and any of the other events coming up a little bit trickier, because now you have to think about not only still this goon in the format, but also you got to think about this guy, because I would be shocked if people did not play Sakazuki at the upcoming Dallas National Championships. That's going to be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. It is not even 7 a.m. yet as I'm recording this. I drove early to the studio to get you all this video, so I hope you enjoy it. And I hope that you enjoy everything else. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a fun one. Or has it been fun? I don't know if this video was fun. This video was not that fun.